Joining me is the Commissioner for Information, Ebonyi State, Uchenna Orji. Good morning. Thank you for joining us in TVC Breakfast. Now, let's begin with the statement that came out of the presidency yesterday in reaction to what has been termed the Asaba Declaration. Now, talking about the resolutions reached by the 17 governors of the South. And one of those resolutions, which has been generating divergent reaction across the country, has to do with the ban on open grazing. And the presidency made a statement yesterday saying that questioning the legality of the ban on open grazing, and also saying that that ban is not necessarily a solution. I wonder what your reaction to that statement is.
Yeah, I concede that in situations like this, we get actions and reactions, resolutions and counter-resolutions. Well, I would say that these are the issues that will trigger negotiation and also consensus. Open grazing, as it were, if you look at the practices in advanced countries of the world, you see that it's outdated, it's outlandish. But what is critical at this point in time is that we don't have to go into blame game. But we need to really appreciate the need to look at our legislations, to look at the need to negotiate, the need to also have a dialogue with all the stakeholders to ensure that we have consensus. The issue of the menace of the herdsmen is no longer a news in the country. It is contributory to the insecurity that we now suffer.
Right.
However, we need to appreciate also that banditry and criminality is not only from the herdsmen, it's also from even within the local communities. And so issue of job creation, issue of ensuring the best practices in all we are doing is the issue we need to discuss. And that is why I'm very happy and very, very glad that the National Assembly is trying to take the bull by the horn by trying to convoke a kind of a meeting in each of the zones to see how we can look at the provisions of the Constitution, particularly the issue of devolution of power in Section 251 of the Constitution. And so that stakeholders can make their contributions so that we can see how we can have a very peaceful, virile, and egalitarian society. And what is common in all of these agitations or reactions and counter-reactions is that we believe in a virile country, a virile Nigeria. We believe in a united Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Where there will be brotherliness, where there will be love, where there will be peace, where there will be equity, where there will be equality. And I think that we consensus, when we come together on a round table, we will be able to look at, to shift grounds and be able to come to a consensus that will bring about confidence among the stakeholders and among the zones of the Federation. When you talk about
shifting grounds, I want you to put that into context. Shifting grounds, negotiating. In negotiation, something has to give. What, from your perspective, should give? Let's take your state now. If you are to negotiate from the part of, coming to a round table, ensuring that peace, because peace at the end of the day is what we are looking at. What would give? What are you negotiating for in the benefits of both parties?
Yeah, we need to know that we don't practice true federalism. And we need to look at all the issues. We also need to appreciate the fact that the unity of our country is non-negotiable. And everybody within the shores of this country is a citizen. And so you have the right to belong to stay in anywhere, provided always that you don't get involved in criminalities. You don't also breach the rules, the orders, the ethos of the place. I think we have to come together to say, what are those problems? What are those sources of conflict? What are those fundamental issues? And of course, job creation is one of them. The issue of, playing by the rules. If you are a herdsman, when you are in another community, what do you do? What do you do to ensure that you don't really, tamper with the rights and privileges of other people? And these are issues that will be discussed. I think essentially we would like to, have a society, a country whereby there will be equity, like I did say, there will be equality. And so all the different zones should have equal opportunity as far as the national issues are concerned. And I think this will help a lot in reducing agitations and expressions of worry about the collective existence of our people as a country. And I think also that we need to also devolve a lot of powers to the states, including security matters, so that the state jurisdictions should be able to, have unfettered powers to really, implement issues that have to do with security without having to rely on federal government.
We'll come to the issue of security, but one more thing I would like to ask with regards to this issue is the aspect of the fact that from the reaction we're getting with regards to this ban on open grazing, a lot of persons are saying it is just a statement. There is no legal document backing it yet. What is Ebonyi State doing to ensure that it is engaging the State House of Assembly to come up with a legal document? Is that on track already? What are we to expect?
Yeah, I must say that this issue is almost beyond the doings of state governments. I think what we need to do at this point is to ensure that we take advantage of all of these meetings to have a roundtable talk on all the issues, so that even our national legislations talking about the acts of the National Assembly, we have regard to the issue of open grazing. Because if you have your legislation on open grazing, and that state has a different legislation, it is going to really bring about conflict and also conflict of confidence. I think that at this point in time, all the governors have to be together with the federal government to see how we can discuss all of these things. Essentially, it must be understood that open grazing has been a menace. It has really brought about several clashes within the farmers and the herdsmen, and this is not healthy. In every place we have the good and the bad. We should be able to really at this point know those national burning issues, one of which is open grazing or the menace of the herdsmen, banditry, issue of job creation and all of that. Of course, issue of inequality in the national issues. And so we need to come together and discuss that. It's not the time we have to isolate ourselves as states to make legislations on those burning national issues. It has to do with coming together, just like Southern governors did come together. Now the next thing will be to interface with relevant authorities to see how we can negotiate. For me, at all times, I keep saying that it is better to judge than to war. We have to discuss all of these things on the table and get it sorted out. But then, essentially, in the Southeast, where I come from, there has been a consensus that open grazing will further trigger crises and banditry. So what we do, it has to be stopped. But it is not going to stop at that if there is no confidence from other jurisdictions. We need to get their confidence so that they will understand and appreciate that in advanced countries of the world, we do more of ranching, we do more of a confined kind of grazing instead of open grazing. And of course, traveling by foot, of course, you know the implication of that, a lot of destructions and all of that. But most importantly is the fact that both the federal government and the state governments have appreciated the fact that foreign herdsmen are the actual menace. We had lived with traditional herdsmen and they had,
for years.
They had to really appreciate our traditions. But today, what happened? Why did we get it wrong? Why is it that we allowed foreign herdsmen to come into Nigeria? And look at where we have found ourselves, filtration of ammunition here and there, in a bid for people to really protect themselves.
Perhaps this is why a lot of persons are beginning to say that the president has to lead a conversation with the ECOWAS body, because there is a treaty where that allows for free movement of cattle across the region, so that the president perhaps needs to lead a conversation with that regard to see how that provision can be tinkered with, when seeing that we are seeing the attendant implication on the country. And we are hoping that we see the negotiation and the conversation that you have been talking about, and we hope that this happen as quickly as possible. But let's talk security now, which is one of the key issues that you have been mentioning in your statement. Recently, some states in the south came up with Ebubagu, and it was agreed, and Ebonyi State is one of the states that adopted that security. And now the National Assembly caucus of the PDP is accusing the state government of masterminding kidnap of members of the state, arming some persons with weapons in the guise of being members of Ebubagu?
Yeah, we have got to see and track the content of that very allegation. And we have reported it as a concussion of mendacious lies against the state government.
Really? Why would they want to lie against the state government?
Yes, they are trying to do politics in the face of insecurity, and we have actually challenged them to really be accountable to the state, to the people of the state. I must say that we got so surprised and so worried when we saw that that press release from the members of the National Assembly from Ebonyi State of PDP platform, led by a former governor of Ebonyi State, Senator Dr. Sam Ominyegu. We are so worried because this is a man that ordinarily would have had an experience in 2001, just like we have 2021 now. He had issues with Abuja Group, those at the National Assembly headed by the then Senate President. And that lasted till 2003. Today we are looking at a crisis that he wants to really put in Ebonyi State that would start in 2001 and end in 2023. So it's actually very historic. But we want to tell him and remind him that some time ago, the former Senate President told him that one day you will lead the Abuja Group against the state. And that is a prophecy that has come to fruition.
To what end? That is my question. The
problem is that these people are actually mindful of automatic ticket. And so when the governor did move or defect to APC in late 2020, we had to join him. But eventually they saw a need to be the lord of the manor in their party for reasons of automatic ticket. And since then, they don't see anything good that the governor is doing. Every day they dish out one press release or the other. As I speak with you, Senator Sam Ominyegu is in channels discussing about Ebubagu. Now, come to talk of it. After the 11th day of April 2021, where the Southeast governors decided to have Ebubagu, the governor, being chairman of Southeast Governors Forum, decided to take the bull by the horn by coming back home, consulting with the stakeholders, talking about the traditional rulers, the council chairman, the town union leaders, religious leaders. Of course, several meetings were held, and they had to shortlist, the membership of Ebubagu from across the communities. And they have been constituted. And because of the need to hastily move into, to wait against insecurity, they have been really empowered. The Ebubagu legislations have been made to really back up that action. And as I speak with you, since May, we have been having a lot of successes.
When you say they have been empowered, I wanted to break that down because there are people watching who want to understand what you mean by they being empowered.
Yeah, they have been given necessary gadgets. I think over 140 number communities, the governor had to procure 140 number patrol vans for this Ebubagu. Gave them other security gadgets. But what is important is the training that the conventional security agencies are giving them. And we are looking at primary port of call, that is intelligence and information gathering. Through this process, we've had a lot of success in our fight against insecurity.
Were they given guns?
Yes, I can say that we are mindful, very mindful of the powers of the state in the area of giving weaponry, yes. But we cannot give them the weapon that they are not meant to use. The weapon that you're using is the weapon that they are meant to use. But where we're having concentration is the area of information gathering and cooperation, collaboration with the security agencies. Now, you should be looking at the successes we have encountered. 2 days ago, some bandits were tracked. They were some of them were arrested, and one, of course, was got down in the bid to attack a police station. And sometime this month also, the bandits wanted to attack a bank, and they were repelled. And because of that...
By these same people?
By these same people. Right. Of course, in collaboration with the security agencies. What happens is that they get information, they get intelligence, they collaborate with the security, they will come with the firearms, that is the security, conventional security, and they do the needful. And today, we have not had any successful attack by these bandits, unlike before they were constituted. And this has really brought about calmness in Ebonyi State. Go to Ebonyi State, you see everybody's going about his or her business because of the operations, activities of Ebubagu. And I want to say that even stakeholders have come up in social media and in media platform to say, yes, we are aware of the constitution of this Ebubagu. They are our people that we rightly recommended, and that we are grateful to God that because of the emergence, we are beginning to see a difference.
So, if they are saying that some persons, that these people were armed, the government armed some persons, which you have also lent credence to. So, I'm wondering where the line of saying it's an allegation. I want you to really clear the air on why this is a major issue, where stakeholders, brought together, where other parties, seeing that they are bona fide members of the state, were they also involved in the conversation of saying that these people have been constituted and weapons given to them to ensure the safety of the citizens, to ensure the safety of the state? I mean, you have just reeled out the successes recorded. Why is this a challenge still? Yeah,
it is actually a question for these people who are really making all of these allegations. When you say you are armed, one can say you are armed to be here in this studio. It means you have your pen, you have your biro, you have your mouth, you have all the research made. And these people are armed in terms of intelligence. Of course, necessary weaponry that are allowed under the law, they need to also bear it. And they are not having it against the good people. They are having it against the bad people in the state. That is the bandits. And before this was done, the governor had to convene a meeting of stakeholders, clan by clan, including religious leaders like I did mention. As Commissioner for Information, I know we would always give a kind of announcement or a notice to all the stakeholders, including former and present office holders, for them to be part of all our meetings. And we held several meetings with about 9 clans. And all of these things were brought to the table and discussed, and they made the recommendations on the people with a mental and moral character to be in that Ebubagu. And of course, the governor, being the chairman of Southeast Governors, feels that it is important for us to implement those resolutions of the 11th April Security Summit in Owerri. And these people have not been coming home. Those National Assembly members from PDP, they have not been coming home. And all of a sudden, they began to say that this constitution of Ebubagu is targeted at them. How dare you talk like that?
They must, perhaps, would we say that perhaps something must have stirred them thinking in that direction? And are there levels of engagement with these people? Yes, they have not been coming home. Is there any point? Because you have talked about the fact that there has to be a conversation. What are we looking for at the end of the day? Peace. Is there some conversation with these people? You talked about 2023, talking about automatic ticket. I'm wondering, politicking with people's lives. People's life is one of the major issue here, if we look at it critically. What is the level of conversation with these people? Because this message from them can stir up some level of agitation, don't you think?
Yeah, that is an issue, a food for thought for them. We have offered them a lot of opportunities to come down home and discuss with the stakeholders. Our announcement is always given to all office holders, both those in the national and state and local levels. And if they aren't going to be part of it, is it now our problem? And so we still give them opportunities to come home and identify with their people. The security should not be politicized for anything. We should appreciate that we have the destiny of our people and the future of our children. And anybody who, because of automatic ticket or because of politics of 2023, is going to politicize insecurity is undoing the future of our people. And that is the message they have to hear. And I want to say that we have long moved forward in our decision and resolve to tackling security head-on. And today that we are making success, today we are seeing the result of the constitution of Ebubagu. The governor should rather be appreciated and supported and given all the necessary encouragement to go ahead. Our idea about all of this fight against insecurity is not that of militarization. is that of engaging our brothers and sisters, because we also saw that all of these insecurity is not by foreigners, it's by our people that they were brainwashed. And coupled with the social media and media attack by some of these extreme politicians, that is what has aggravated the brainwashing of some of these bandits. And they feel that destruction of public property, government facilities, killing of policemen, security, and individuals is just the way to go. And so we need to come home, all of them, politicians, and join the governor, join hands with him to really ensure that we talk to our people. The governor thinks that constructive engagement, both to the bandits and to even this extreme politician, is all there is. And that is why we've given them olive branch, if they can come home, so that they will liaise with the stakeholders in their various communities and appreciate how far these communities have gone in their collaboration with government in tackling insecurity.
Now, you mentioned some things that are the issues generating reactions with regards to insecurity, and one of it is the burning of INEC offices in recent times, which one of the offices, INEC offices in Ebonyi State, was also attacked, I think sometime last week or so. Now, if we say we are addressing security issues in that state and we have been making progress, how come we saw that happening? How much of a concern is this to the state governor? Because we've been seeing statements coming from other states with regards to this.
Yeah, you need to know that government has been doing a lot to really tackle all of this banditry. It's not even an INEC office.
Right.
There were 2 INEC offices of Zanof local government and Boy local government. And government had to really take some steps to repel them, even though they actually executed the attack, but not to the magnitude that it would have been, but if not for the presence of Ebubagu. Even government had to take some disciplinary decisions against government officials, including council chairman, for not really being on ground to give necessary information. So at this point, government is doing a lot in the area of intelligence and information gathering. Now, let me tell you that several arrests have been made. On daily basis, the police are getting more encouraged and more motivated because they are getting successes in the collaboration they are having with Ebubagu. And that is why a lot of planned attacks were repaired and arrests made. I tell you a story of where they wanted to attack a bank and they were repelled. And given the information that was given by Ebubagu, they had to arrest the physician, the doctor that was taking care of them when at the time they had wounds. And the man had to give information about where they camped, and that place was cracked and it was destroyed, and people were arrested. Of course, in the process, some bandits were gunned down, and of course, the native doctor that was providing charm was also arrested, and the place was destroyed. Right. So these are the successes that we have, and the people are more relaxed. Security agencies are now much more, in the spirit they are much more excited. They
have confidence in the security apparatus in the state.
Yes, more than before.
All right. Thank you for your time, Commissioner for Information, Ebonyi State, Uchenna Orji.
Thank you very much.